Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another series of Dota that we've finally got going underway here at the Shanghai Major. We've got Alliance versus Fnatic here on this stream, of course. This is the winner's match after Alliance beat... Who did Alliance play? It seemed like yesterday, Andy. Who did they play this morning?
Team Spirit, right?
They played Team Spirit, and they beat them 2-0. I remember I watched that game. I remember the dates, and it was quite convincing victories, I want to say as well. I think the first game was convincing, while the second one was a little bit closer, but it was a 2-0 nonetheless. Fnatic, of course, beat Vici, which in itself was a little bit closer. They did drop one game. That was a 2-1 victory there for the side. But we're here now. We've got Fnatic versus Alliance. I think going into this one, still a lot of people, even though Fnatic were able to take down Vici, are seen as a strong Chinese team, maybe not as strong as they were a few months ago. Alliance is still seen as the favourites in this one.
I think so too. Yeah. A lot of the analysts that I was talking to are making the comparison that Fnatic seem kind of similar to Alliance. They have the same kind of picking habits most of the time, and the way that they play seems to be kind of towards what they do. So if you look at it on paper, you could basically just say that Fnatic feels similar to Alliance, just maybe Alliance are a little bit better at what they do. So with that being said, we are seeing the Furion and the Lone Druid ban, kind of standard stuff, I guess, when you're going up against Alliance. You ban Furion because...
Yeah, if you don't, they'll first pick it.
I mean, it's one of those heroes that it's not even really about. Obviously, Bulldog is arguably the best Prophet player in the world, and you have Ohio as well. So it's like probably top 2 or 3. You definitely can't let that hero through. But it does allow Alliance to get their hands on the Chen, which is a hero that I'm sure Ake is going to be more than happy to run. And we've been seeing quite a bit of Chen. I actually want to say Fnatic in their series against... why am I blanking on who they just played? It seems like it was
it was Vici.
Vici, thank
you.
It's been a long day.
They played Chen every game.
Yeah, they played Chen every game.
We're actually talking about these heroes, and again, Lone Druid. That is a hero that Fnatic have played twice as well. Ohio's been picking it up this morning also.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of very common picks between these two sides. Over on the side of Fnatic, now they're going to pick themselves up the Batrider. Again, another hero that we know Alliance love to play, S4, one of his signatures. And Enchantress, this draft could very well be switched on its head, and it wouldn't be surprised at this point. Fnatic and Alliance, even though from two very different parts of the world, there are similarities between these two teams.
Well, Batrider has been known to be one of the heroes that you can kind of put anywhere. We've seen mid Batrider, we've seen offlane Batrider, even jungle Batrider has been a thing so far during the Shanghai Major. So lots of places to put him. It's really nice against 5-man because as soon as you get Blink Dagger, you can pull one hero out of position. You could drop Firefly defensively to actually just defend towers. You don't have to commit your hero to it either. You can just have it there and advance, and it slows the push down pretty significantly. So it's something to say that, like you mentioned, both teams could be opening up the same draft. I think Alliance are maybe less likely to pick Enchantress.
Yes, that's yes. I mean,
I know Bulldog has been practicing the hero.
No, they did it once this tournament where Ake played it.
Yeah, Ake played it, but I think.
Did they do it twice? No, I think it was just in one of the games today.
Yeah, I think overall though, it's more likely that a team like Fnatic would pick it up. I think it suits their style a little bit more. But the Beastmaster going to be the choice here for Alliance as second pick. Good counter initiation, good vision control against the Batrider as well. You want to make sure that if you're going to be going for a lineup that's 5-manning against very good initiation like Bat, you want to have vision to make sure that you're never going to get that hero pulled too far out of position. Now, I would imagine Fnatic at this stage, you want to look at things like Venge Ban, anything that's going to be good at stopping the initiation of the Bat. And since Beastmaster's already picked up, that means offlane is more or less secured. I'm sure S4 can play Beastmaster, but it seems most of the time when Alliance pick this hero, it's the Bulldog.
Yeah, it should be indeed. And we'll see what else they're worried about Fnatic playing. The Jara ban.
Yep.
That's been a hero that's been banned out in a lot of series. It seems that Jara, still one of those heroes that, regarding the patches, he may have fell in and out of favour. At the moment, this major certainly seems to be a hero that people are just not wanting the opposition to get their hands on.
I think it's just because of the fact that Gyro was able to fight at a very early stage. And this is a patch, or at least this is a tournament that is based very heavily around early game tempo. How much can you do in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game? And Gyrocopter is phenomenal at being able to just teleport in, you're level 6, level 7, you can just deal a massive amount of damage, slow down a push, which already opening up with a Chen means that Alliance don't want to have to deal with that potential team fight on top of already having a Bat. Like, that combination in of itself is good enough at stopping you from pushing a tier 1 even, and then try to go high ground against it, it's even worse. So it makes plenty of sense. The Brood is kind of a chalk ban. We see it quite often in the 3rd and 4th phase of the bans, but it's like Or no, sorry, second and third phase. But it's one of those heroes where you can't really give it away in any game, especially if you're not prepared to pick a safe laner who's going to be able to deal with it. And as we already said, since Beastmaster's picked up, that means that Tidehunter is probably not going to be a pick here for Alliance, so we're not going to have an opportunity to see that against Brood. And it just makes it too big of a nuisance, and Alliance don't want to deal with it.
An interesting ban here from Fnatic. I mean, we have seen, of course, Loader. He did do it in. It was one of the games today against Spirit. He did pick up his Loader Slark, and they're obviously a very targeted ban. Not every team is going to be picking Slark, but Alliance certainly wants to do so. And Fnatic, they don't want to have any bits of a bit of that. And the IO as well. EGM once again did play it this morning. Very convincing performance, and EGM, arguably one of, if not the best IO in the Western scene, would you say? I mean, maybe even the world.
He's up there. I think he's definitely top 3 in my opinion. I think that it's one thing to be a really good IO player, but you have to also have good communication and synergy with your team.
And Alliance has got
Alliance, it's a full team of Swedes. They definitely got the communication going. But interesting to note here, Fnatic, I didn't actually notice that they had first pick out of the second ban phase, which is why they didn't actually ban Venge. I thought they would, but if you can just pick it yourself, then it's more than fine. It's a little bit interesting because I feel like right now Fnatic do lack deep push, but they have great tempo control. Like Enchantress during the laning phase can cause a lot of havoc. It can buy time for the Batrider to get the blink, and then you have Venge who can roam around and try to look for ganks. Now, they're saving their cores for last, and this TA pick pretty much means that it's going to be off-lane Bat. I don't really think there's anything else they can do with it because they already have Enchantress as well. So unless they go like totally off the wall and try to farm it or something, which I sincerely doubt, it's probably just going to be your off-lane Batrider. And Ohio is a pretty phenomenal Bat player last time I checked, so I'm looking forward to that. And as far as Alliance goes,
as for Zeus,
I mean, Zeus is really, really strong in this patch because there are very few heroes who can afford to buy BKB, and so many heroes are actually picked that can't even buy the item because of the tempo. The game ends so fast, it's like I don't have time to buy BKB because by 15-20 minutes, I either don't have any of my tier 2 towers left, or we're already so far behind in kills that buying a BKB kind of loses us the game because I don't have the right item progression. Like my hero's just not going to be able to fulfill that role. So I really like the Zeus here from Alliance. We've also been seeing it banned a ton. Second phase ban, it's been taken out quite often. Typically where you would see Broodmother banned.
Oh, a load of Spectre.
Yeah, a little bit of the global coming in. I like it.
I like this. The Zeus Spec strap. It's coming out straight fresh from the pubs here at the Shanghai Major now. Alliance, they're going to go and run with this. I mean, already we're talking about the TA. With the refraction, you look at Alliance in terms of ticking through it. Do you think this is going to be a game where Spec may go for the Radiance as well, just because of that? The fact that you're going to have heroes like Bat who are going to want to blink in. Just things. Are we going to see Radiance come out from Loader, or is that just not his style?
It's really good against Bat, and it's really good against TA as well. Granted, Refraction does make it so you can blink even with Radiance, but it's still a nuisance, right? It's something
else you got to
as soon as you pop it, and then you have Zeus ult on top of it, there's also the synergy from the damage that you deal in of itself. And I think that it's going to be kind of a timer now for Fnatic. They see this line after like, man, if we go late game against this, or we can't control the early game, the first 15-20 minutes, it's going to be an absolute nightmare dealing with Alliance's draft because they have so much vision control as well. Like Zeus being able to deward on his own, they have Beastmaster Hawk to scout around, they have Spectre ult. They're going to be able to effectively scout a lot of ganks that are coming their way, and that's what Fnatic are really going to be relying on.
What do you think EGM's going to be have picked up from here for Alliance?
When I see stuff like this, my brain immediately goes to stuff like Ancient Apparition, but I think it's really hard to pick. I think they need something else that has some good lane control and a disable. Something that can deal with that.
I mean, AA could be nice.
The thing is, it could be nice, but there's zero
setup.
There's zero setup for the hero.
They've got it's the Primal Roar, really, isn't it? That's the setup for your global.
And then you have to potentially deal with a Batrider and an Enchantress roaming around the map.
Chen with the troll traps, with the Sens. You've got ways of getting in the lane and controlling.
Is much more likely for Alliance than AA. I mean,
I'd love to see I'd love to see the triple global strat.
Yeah, I would like to see the AA as well, but it's something that makes your lane so unbelievably weak at this stage. Because what is Spectre, Dagger, and Cold Feet going to do against Bat? And if Enchantress goes down there with one creep, like one creep in that lane is pressured. So Chen either has to rotate over, and then it's a mess. Alliance needs something that's going to be able to deal with the laning phase. And that's why the Witch Doctor also got banned. Because the Witch Doctor is really good against the creeps that Enchantress can actually get. I think they could go CM. CM actually would be nice too. We'll see what they pick here.
Coming out from Fnatic, and of course they are one of the teams that do run this. We in fact even saw Vici having they actually banned this away from Fnatic. So Vici Gaming, they're scared of the Fnatic Leshrac alliance. They obviously interesting ban. They did obviously ban out the Drow Ranger, which would have synergized with Fnatic's lineup pretty nicely so far. And very well aware that if TA starts to get an edge and they start going for those fights and they have something like a Drow to really kind of turn the Venge and the Ench into hard hitters early on in the game, could have been an issue. But with that Lesh pickup, it kind of makes me think that probably was the plan from Fnatic all along.
It could have been, and it also gives them a lot of tower push. Like, TA is really good at killing towers, Enchantress creeps are great for push too, Leshrac, obviously you have that Diabolic Edict. I don't know if he's going to go Lightning build or not just yet, we'll have to see. But I think a lot of the Lesh players, especially the core ones, have been favoring that lately, right?
Yes.
They all, pretty much are all going Edict. So we'll see what Fnatic want to do with that. But Alliance taking their time. They got a little bit left.
Got a bit of
they
time
don't have any reserve time.
They're chilling out. We've got all the... okay, it's the EGM Oracle. This seems to be a hero that's just kind of been forgotten so far in the Shanghai Major.
Yeah, I think... Is this the first game?
I want to say it. It is. I don't think I've seen any other Oracle.
Yeah, you might be right.
I don't think we have seen any Oracle. I don't think we've seen bans in any series, but...
I don't think we have. I think this is the first Oracle.
Not as much, at least, as you'd probably expect. I'm kind of going into this off the back of the other lands, because we have seen teams picking this up. Yeah. Maybe it's just because we've seen a lot of the Chinese sides in the group so far, and they're less favourable with the hero than some of the Western, some of the CIS teams, for instance.
It could be. I don't think I've seen many of the Chinese teams running Oracle, but
it's gonna be nice.
It's a really nice pick because the burst damage is insane. Like, you can, with the Zeus especially, you roar, you throw out the Oracle spells, you just kill a hero, like, straight up. The other nice thing about it too is you can throw out your ultimate on whoever gets lassoed, and at the very least, you know they're going to live long enough to where you might be able to send them back. And that's a really big thing. Like, say for instance, you pop Holy Persuasion, and then you throw out Oracle ulti on that hero. You can send them back to base, and they might not even die. It really just depends on how much damage is being taken at that point. So, False Promise plus Chen. It's kind of like the Shadow Demon Chen that we used to see, where you would send somebody back and disrupt them, and then they would always be able to go back to base no matter what. It was actually very reminiscent of TI3 era as well, which a lot of people are saying this patch kind of feels like. So.
Oh yeah, dude, that combo.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're saving someone every time, really.
Yeah, it's
pretty flawless. Unless they take an insane amount of damage that the Phantom regen itself isn't going to be enough. But wait, if you do that and get your combo off, so you've got the Oracle heal going on you as well, you should be good to go 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. But the one thing, too, to remember about that particular combo is you're sending that hero back. So it's basically like, if they go on anybody but the Spectre, you're fighting a 4v5 still. So like, they might not be able to kill the hero, but you're also saying, we're not going to be able to really fight into it either. So you have to be able to disengage.
That's true. But at the same time, if you are saving the Spectre, say Loader gets jumped, he starts to get low, you just send him back because he's got the Haunt. He can just re-enter the fight.
I think Fnatic would only make that mistake one time.
Okay.
They would do it once, see it, and be like, oh, crap, okay, we can't do that. And then they would just work around it, so.
Alright, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, game 1 here between Alliance and Fnatic here in the winners section of this group stage. And let's get ourselves nice and familiarised with the heroes, the players, and their lanes. You're going to have on the side of Fnatic, Ohio on his off-lane bat. DJ at the moment just getting the block here on the Enchantress, which is going to be, of course, mid 1 in the mid lane on the TA. And up on your safe lane, good old Mushi on that position 1 Lesh, and he will be supported by Net on the Vengeful Spirit. I'm OD Pixel, I'm here with Draskell. Draskell, give me a rundown of what Alliance are doing. It's the classic Alliance, isn't it, in terms of lanes?
It really is. The Bulldog off-lane Beastmaster, that's something that takes me way back. And then we got S4 mid on Zeus. A hero that we don't see him play too much, but this hero is like the mid that everyone can pretty much play, and S4 is obviously a phenomenal player, so I'm expecting big things. And then towards the safe, or actually top rune. I saw your mouse go over there, dude. I got you.
You've got me.
Yeah,
and now you've given away that I'm doing camera control, so let's hope I don't miss any kills.
Yeah, so Ake going to be on the Chen.
Sorry, Chen.
Yeah, and then bottom lane EGM is on the Oracle. Looks super fancy. And Loda handling the Spectre.
And EGM, he's enjoying the sticky nade bombs at the moment. Yeah, he's got to be careful. 3 stacks on him, as Ohio does force him back. And I've got to be honest, well, let's actually hold that thought as we just look at S4 harassing back mid 1. 7 for 1 against 2 for 0. TA, regardless of the refraction, having a hard time really competing with the farm of S4 Zeus at the moment.
Well, it's something to be said for Arc Lightning. This spell is very hard to deal with because he deals 85 damage, and it's such a fast animation, you can do it from so far away. Most heroes can't really deny Zeus, But Zeus can't deny them either. So oftentimes what you see is this situation right now where mid 1 and S4 are both getting a really good amount of CS, and neither one of them are denying any creeps. Like the fact that S4 has a deny over mid 1 is kind of crazy, because Zeus has an absolutely terrible attack animation and pretty poor base damage to boot. So I expect both heroes just to hit creeps here.
Mid 1 coming in nice and aggressive there. S4 just forcing him back. And yeah, I was going to tell you, this bottom lane, we saw already the start loader not having a fun time. I mean, having an Enchantress and a Batrider contesting your farm when you're a Spectre. It's not going to be an easy lane for Loader. He has, of course, got the backup now. Ake's kind of positioning himself ready to go if anything does kick off. And EGM is there between the wave and the heroes to stop them from getting close. So Loader's now going to be able to get a bit of CS, but at the moment, of course, it is the position 1 for Fnatic. Mushi, who is having the favourable time at the moment in the safe lane.
It shouldn't be too bad if Loda gets a little bit held down, because they have so much damage on their team. Like Oracle and Zeus plus Beastmaster, that's a lot of nuke damage. He doesn't need to have a phenomenal start. They just need to not lose complete map control by around like the 15-20 minute mark, and that's what Fnatic's lineup wants to do. They want to restrict division, they want to win the lanes. You're going to have your Enchantress roaming around trying to look for kills, but I think it might be a bit easier for them to actually pressure mid. Like ganking Zeus is really, really easy. Especially once mid 1 hits level 6. He's like halfway to 5 now. He hits at level 6, you drop a couple of traps. Zeus doesn't really want to have to spend the mana to deward those. And obviously he's going to be bottle crowing on top of it, so he needs the mana for farming in of itself to keep the wave back. But we'll see if he wants to continue pressuring the safe lane or go mid.
Pretty much as you expected at the start, even though Zeus did have the edge, mid 1's now totally closed that gap. He's pretty much been hitting every CS now, level 4 with a couple of points in refraction. And the side blades, and no trouble at all here for the TA in terms of keeping level with the Zeus. Bulldog just clearing up the side camp in terms of levels. He's nearly reaching on to level 3. Just pretty much on par with the 2 on the off lane for Fnatic. And still, was thanks to this, Mushi is getting all the space in the world. Just the question is, how do you build your safe lane Leshrac nowadays?
I think Bloodstone's still kind of the item, right? Or I guess you could go like Aether Lens if you want to go for Alina style, where you just go for opening like Aether Lens Yules, and then you can land your stuns. But in this lineup, I think he needs health. Like Lesh against a Zeus with no HP does not sound like a fun game to me, so I'm kind of leaning towards Bloodstone.
Okay. It's also talking about builds. TA, is this a blink game, or is this a go for straight for the Deso?
I think it's Deso and try to get Roshan. Your team is really, really good at killing it, and if the Ench wants to put more points into Untouchable, you have somebody who can tank it, you have Refraction as well. So it's a very low-risk Rosh, because nobody's going to be low health. And then you have Nature's Attendance to heal, even if you do end up taking damage. So I feel like that opens up a lot of opportunities to get the map control that they're looking for to go their way. Just force a Roshan, try to smoke in if you can, and then just try to push tier 1s.
And we saw there, Hayo, he's got the vision here in Alliance's jungle, knew he was safe to cross straight through. We can see he's taken this whole creep wave all the way back to the tier 2 so he can farm it in a very safe position. So, sneaky little play there from Hayo. A little bit akin to sometimes some of the plays that we see from
really
Bulldog.
Good. Because of the fact that they just pulled that creep that far, it means the wave is going to be pushing up in time for them to rotate for this gank.
Let's see how this smoke from DJ and that can pay off. DJ, he has got the Troll Summoner. Who they're going to look for here? EGM looks to be the one. He's got one stack to maybe going to be... Yep, there's the second one. Wave of Terror coming through from net. They're looking to find themselves the first blood. EGM going to try and do what he can to hold back the side of Fnatic, but it'll almost certainly go down. It's not going to be enough to save him there, and DJ will draw first blood. And as you said there, off the back of a very cheeky little pull from Ohio, allowing Fnatic to get themselves in position with the smoke and find themselves the first kill on the board.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was intentional, but it did end up working out in their favor, because they smoked in the woods around the same time as Ohio was pulling the creep wave back, so it could have very well been something they intended to do. But even though they don't kill the Spectre, they still pressure the lane. This is time that Loda's not farming, and to be honest, it's not like Bulldog could do anything in his position. He's just soaking XP, he's doing what he can. He's got right now 8 CS, and the fact that he's level 4 is pretty good as Zeus ulti pops in.
Oh, okay, with the double purple balls, they're trying to go for Mushi, and with the Thunder God's Wrath, they'll find the kill.
Nice.
Yeah, we're seeing some great rotations from both of Both of the jungle masters, the Chen and the Enchantress from either side. Well, bottom lane talking about the edge. He's ready to go again on Loader with a backup of Ohio and Net. Straight in with the Troll Trap Net. They're looking for the kill here. He's only got 1 point in dispersion. Loader pop the stick charges. It is keeping him alive here. And now Alliance might be able to turn. Loader's ready to go back in. He's going to find one. Can't quite find the second, but EGM will finish it off. And with S4 rotating in as well, they do manage to find 2 kills in return for losing the 1. So Alliance there, reacting very nicely to Fnatic's aggression, but they do manage to shut Loader off the map for a bit.
Again, though, it's nice that Mushi is obviously farming much more than Loda in this game, but a lot of it boils down to the team fights during the mid game. Like the fact that the lane opened up a little bit for Bulldog, that means that right now he got to level 5. As soon as he gets at level 6, you're gonna have Roar. You can see a smoke with the Beastmaster and the Chen together. That should result in a kill, assuming Zeus ulti is up, which I assume it will be. And there's a lot of pressure that Alliance can apply by themselves. Like they don't need Fnatic to come to them, especially with the kind of disable that they have with that offlane Beastmaster being so close to 6. So I feel they're still in an alright position, but they do need to start trying to make some rotations around the map, given the fact that Loda is also level 6 right now, and he just picked up his urn, so he is ready to go.
We'll see where Alliance are able to find the next bit to jump in. I think eyes have got to really be on Ake. He is going to be the one entering into the lane, starting to kick things off. Zusol, he's S4's heading back to base, so he's making sure that he has got the mana ready for it. And as you said, Loader has got that Haunt, and he does need to be careful here. Midball's starting moving, he might need to use the Haunt to get out of this one. Loader in a load of trouble, and well, he's got the backup. Here comes S4, it doesn't matter, Loader's still going to go down. S4 will kill the TA, but Loader just underestimating the raw physical damage output of that Templar Assassin.
Yeah, that was a little bit strange. He only has like 1 point in the middle too. That means that dive lasted a really long time. Kind of surprised that Alliance...
And he did die with Dagger and Haunt on cooldown. I don't know if he could have used one of those to get away in time, but yeah, either way, the TA just had him for breakfast.
I think he must have daggered at least once, right?
He didn't, no. 100%.
He didn't dagger at all. He just walked away and died.
Pretty sure it was on cooldown. Here we go. He's coming back with the Haunt.
Okay.
Loader says, alright, I'll just jump in for that one. Takes himself the kill with the backup of Ake onto Mushi's Leshrac. Top lane as well. That's where he followed through with the Haunt. Comes to join Bulldog. Bulldog hasn't quite hit level 6, unfortunately. Perhaps with that they could have got the kill a little bit easier. Ake is rotating in as well. Alliance, seeing if they can find themselves something extra here. He's going to spot out Net, and he can't quite follow through with the second spell to finish that one off. So they will just end up getting Mushi off the back of that Haunt. There's still something here for Alliance, and they are still leading the game in terms of kills, 5 for 3.
So far, it feels like Alliance are kind of struggling to keep up a little bit. The fact that Loda has already died 2 times, he popped his Haunt, that middle death is like really puzzling. I'm surprised that he ended up letting himself trap that way, but still, Beastmaster, almost 6. Ake is 6 now, which is big. Obviously, if they had Hand of God, I don't think that mid one would have been able to get that kill, and maybe they would have been a little bit better position. But given the fact that all their ultimates are going to be up, I think it should be pretty decent for a timing for them to go for another team fight. They got Zeus ulti. The Spectre won't be able to be there for another minute or so, but I don't think they necessarily need him. They're going to pop this to scout it out, see how many of Fnatic are in the area.
It's nice to work, because mid one was moving over, and you had traps down prematurely ready to go if anyone hung around.
Okay, that's a dead end. Jeez. Zeus plus level 3 Purifying Flames on a hero that has like 1.2
It's a lot of nuke damage.
Oh, sorry, 1 strength gain. You just die instantly.
Oh, S1 EGM just playing games here with mid one as well. TA looking a bit of a better shape to deal with the harassment than the entry certainly was, and has got the first mirror for Hammer, so it is going to be mid one doing exactly as you said, going straight for that death, so to capitalise on the fact that they do have a lineup that can take Roshan fairly early on and really utilising that dire side that they're playing this game. See what they can do next. S4, Ake and EGM grouped around the mid top lane. Bulldog, he's getting a bit more farm, and has he got the staff? Yeah, he just picked up the staff, so closing in on finishing that level 1 Necro book. And bottom lane as well, Loader, he's been left untouched for a little bit. In terms of the net worth, it is TA on top, pretty much parallel with the Zeus, and Loader just slightly ahead of Mushi, so nonetheless a very, very close game still 10 minutes in.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, despite the pressure that they were able to apply to Loda early on, it's not enough yet, and Fnatic realizes this, they need to keep it up. Looks like we might have some smoke on smoke action. Okay, Ake just bought the smoke, never mind. He might know this is coming. He's already heading back towards the tier 2. Loda's going to be doing the same. He's got Dagger, and I don't think Fnatic are going to be able to get much out of this, and because of the fact that their TA doesn't have Deso yet, I don't know if they can just use this to go for Roche, because mid one's actually visible right now.
Well, mid one is just doing his best to finish off this tier 1 here, but we do see Alliance getting ready to surround this area. Maybe a little bit suspicious on his aggression. We'll see DJ just steal one of the creeps here from Ake. Says, that one's mine now, baby. And he'll manage to walk off with that one. Alliance, the Jimmies have been rustled, and they certainly feel like they want to do something to kind of punish Fnatic, making this journey over to their side of the map. But Fnatic, playing it smart, do back up. Ults are all back online. Mana, yes, S4 does have enough for the Thunder Ghost Rafford. They do find someone. Well, they're just going to spot out Net here. I think he's just going to be a little bit apprehensive about going for anything too aggressive. He's just going to sit back and continue to farm the wave here. And now, in fact, like it's the smoke from Alliance. They know that the side of Fnatic's going to see Loader returning back to farm, so this could be potentially the time for them to catch someone out. The TA would indeed be someone that they'd be very happy to kill, but it looks like they'll just make the rotation round here instead. Mushi, oh, he could get caught if he's not too careful. Alliance will get the ward down here by the Dire Ancients. And still maybe waiting for someone to reveal themselves. The ping's coming back out on this bottom lane. Loader says there's someone around here, and he's not wrong. DJ and Net are in the area. Looks like they're not going to be able to achieve too much with the smoke, but they do manage to get down that valuable ward at least.
Yeah, the warding is alright. Like, the vision from Alliance right now is definitely good, but it's a little bit concerning that Ohio gets the Blink Dagger right now. The Venge, let's see, how close to level 6 are we? Pretty close. So a couple more creeps to have the defensive swap or offensive swap, depending how they want to use it. Now, both teams have pretty much everything in their arsenal if they want to try to go for a full-fledged team fight. And to be honest, I figure it's pretty even. Like, if Ohio gets a target that he wants, and it doesn't get sent back, and the Chen-Heal and the False Promise doesn't come out from EGM, and they can very easily kill that target. But it's just going to be down to who gets the better jump.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Alliance now starting the push here on the mid lane with Ake. Top lane, Mushi's trying to go for it, but in fact they're going to respond straight away with the Haunt. Zeus jumping in as well. They'll find themselves the kill on the ledge. They're trying to look for more. Loader chasing this one down here with the Spectral Dagger. He's not going to go that deep though. He does back up. Can't really afford to chase any further into the Firefly in Ohio. Playing it safe here, TPing out. Net is going to be left in the tree line. But Alliance can't really search that far past the tower for him. The pings are coming through. Net is, of course, already out there, and Alliance will just be able to use this space to get themselves a tier 1. But finding that kill onto the Mushi Leshrac as well is a pretty big find here for Alliance. And, of course, she's getting Loader involved in these kills.
Well, it's not only that, but the fact they're dealing damage to the tier 1. Bulldog denied mid. They're going to go for a counter push as well. I don't know if Ohio has actually revealed his blink yet, though, so they might be able to get a kill here.
Oh, and here we go. That's the reveal. Straight in onto Ake. Mushi's there to follow through with the stun, with the burst. Ake will pop the Hand of God. He's not going to be able to save himself, though, this time. And indeed, that was the blink reveal, and it pays off. At the same time, Fnatic, they've taken one down. They're straight into the pit. Alliance, they know what's up. I did send one of the boars in. One of the boars has been stolen from its owner. And Fnatic, they'll get this one. So
It's a really nice move from
really, really nice use overall of the blink.
Yeah.
Is it the fact it's just a chain kill, but that one kill allows you to get the Roshan, which, as you said, is pretty crucial to Fnatic's playstyle this game.
It's one of those things where you lose a hero, like Mushi died top, right? And you know that Alliance committed resources to going for that kill. Haunt was popped. As soon as Haunt and Zeus ulti were on cooldown, they say to themselves, alright, well, we lost a hero, potentially we lose a tier 1. We already killed Alliance's tier 1, which means we have the jungle open to us now. So as long as we get the Aegis and make sure that we're continuing to play the lineup the way that we need to play it, we should be in okay shape still. And the fact that mid one is more than halfway to its Blink Dagger, which I kind of assume he's going to be going next, once he gets that, they can continually force fights. Like Batrider, TA, both having Blink Daggers, the burst damage is crazy. So it doesn't matter who they go for. Even if the False Promise comes out, it might not be enough to keep that person alive anymore.
I don't know if you talked about this, but what do you think about Mushi's decision here for the first time, Glimmer Cape?
It's a little bit unorthodox, but he is against the Zeus. And he probably doesn't feel like a Bloodstone is going to save him, per se. It's kind of like, okay, I have a lot of health, but Zeus damage is crazy high, and if I get roared, if I don't get swapped, I'm just dead for sure. So it could be one of those things where it's good against the Zeus, and you can also use it on the target who gets roared if you don't get caught out yourself. And that means you have two saves, a defensive swap and a Glimmer Cape. which I feel is, and we haven't really been seeing that much of, to be honest. Seems like a lot of people are kind of bypassing it right now.
Let's see what they can find here, Fnatic. They do smoke up. It looks like Alliance is aware. Yeah, S4 very smartly going to be TPing away from this one. So they won't be able to find anything with the smoke by the looks of it. They are going to use the remainder of it to head towards the mid lane. But Alliance, they're in full force. They've got the 4 of them there. Essentially the 5, because Loader does have Haunt available. Still continuing to get the space down here. He's picked up the first blade. Is this going to be straight into Diffusal or straight into Yasha?
I think Diffusal probably gives him more kill potential, but Yasha is the greedier choice. It allows him to chase maybe a little bit better in the long run, but I feel like Diffusal is probably the better choice in this situation. It's like you pop ulti with Diffusal, so we're going to say 2 towers drop here, tier 1 and middle lane in favor of Alliance, and then Fnatic are going to take the tier 1 off lane. But if you pop ult and you diffuse like Venge, for example, like what is Venge's counterplay outside of throwing out a stun? You can do the same thing to Bat Rider and like force him to throw a bad lasso. It's just really nice for being able to stick to a target. Because no one in this game, on the side of Fnatic, really has tremendous amounts of burst except for the TA.
Well, I'm looking at Mushi's build here on the left, right? He's picked up the Ogre Club. Is this really going to be a Glimmer Cape into BKB being built by the guy?
It kind of looks like it right now.
Because that is incredibly defensive, surely, for your position 1 mesh.
If you look at their lineup, all of their damage right now is pretty much magical. Like Zeus, Test of Faith, even Spectre Dagger, Oracle, and then Beastmaster does like kind of 50-50, but it's not a game that's easy to itemize for as a Lesh, because you know, again, that you're still relying pretty heavily on your supports to keep you alive. And I don't think that he wants to take this to a farming game. That's the big reason why I feel like he skipped Bloodstone and just decided to opt for going the Glimmer into potential BKB, because he knows that he needs to be with his team and he needs to fight. So if he doesn't have an item that allows him to fight, where Bloodstone, it does increase your survivability, but it's mainly used as something to allow you to farm something else. And I don't think he has that kind of time.
We keep saying that Fnatic, they are certainly looking for these fights. Again, another smoke was attempted there. Haya trying to find himself in position. But Alliance, they're reacting really smartly to any time that Fnatic aren't shown on the map. They don't risk going out alone. They keep themselves together, they hold each other's hands, and they just make sure Loader's getting the space to farm, which he certainly is. He is now, he's doing his best to catch up with the TA. The TA is still 1,500 ahead. But, you know, we know what a Spectre's like. You have yourself involved in one fight, Loader's going to be on top of the board, and then the farm's just going to increase and spiral out of control, potentially.
It's really scary because his lane was so hard, and he's still...
Oh! That's 4 reactions there.
That was fast.
Ahaya did blink in, was hoping for some kind of lasso, but I didn't get the touch in onto S4 to cancel his blink. Maybe I didn't check out the fact that he did have a blink dagger. It was a little bit off the bat.
Wait, was that? That had to have been miscommunication, right? Because Loda just haunted, and then he was getting jumped by the TA, and I think he haunted away. But the Bat Rider, like Ohio, wasn't really looking at his hero or something, because he haunted to Ohio, and then walked away. Whereas I think that could have potentially been a kill, so that's a little bit strange. I guess Ohio didn't have his Force Staff. Maybe he got hit and it canceled his Blink Dagger. But it looks like Aegis going to be fading now, so doesn't look like Fnatic are able to really do anything of note. I don't think they did much. Did they push like 1 tower? Yeah, they push off lane
They
tower.
got the top tower.
Yeah, so okay, they get 1 tower for the Aegis. Not like the best trade in the entire world, but the more important thing is they're taking it away from Alliance, and their team isn't particularly good at killing it in terms of speed at this point anyway, so I assume Fnatic, they need to wait for another smoke, a decent opportunity to try to push in, because the longer this game goes, the scarier it's going to get for them.
And the TA is certainly going to be reaching kind of critical mass fairly soon. She's got the blink, the Deso, and she is going to be going for the BKB. And once she's got that, you've got to just expect Fnatic to really, really try and look for these fights, because surely you don't want to take a TA Lesh core late against a Spectre lineup.
No, definitely not. The amount of damage that you have to do to kill a Spectre is it's completely insane.
And one thing you've got to remember, that Alliance, they are masters of the late game, with heroes like Spectre when Loader's playing that kind of hero stuff.
Yeah, I think their win rate actually goes up as a team the longer the game goes. Like, statistically speaking, I'm pretty sure it's higher the late game.
Well, we might see things kick off here on the bottom. Blink away from everyone, does manage to get the tires for jumping onto Mushi with the Thunder Ghost reference while bringing him low. heal is there from the Ancient. In fact, Bulldog tried to get the Roar off, but there is the lasso just in time. He gets saved by EGM. Bulldog's still looking for the Roar. He'll get it onto DJ before he gets swapped out. They'll close the gap here. They're trying to find the kill onto Enchantress, and they will. They take down one. They do lose Bulldog for it. Net trying to TP away. Loda hasn't quite got the damage there. So we'll just be a 1-for-1 at the moment. We'll see if they can find anything else, but it looks like they are going to get high on the bat. Double kill for Loda. So they take the 2-for-1. They do lose Bulldog. But a bit of a scrappy fight. But nonetheless, it's these fights where Loda getting himself 2 more kills, and now we're saying he is continuing to close that gap to the TA. And TA, just without the BKB, just really isn't able to jump in and frontline. And mid-one's really just going to hang back and get that BKB online before they can really kind of commit to the fight, surely.
BKBs are going to be huge for sure, but that just showcases again how much damage Alliance's lineup actually does. Of course, a majority of it's going to be the Zeus. He already has the Ether Lens, he's throwing out level 2 Thunder God's Wrath at this point in the game, and just with Haunt and Thunder God's Wrath, you get that roar off on one target. I mean, heck, Mushi started the teamfight with like 20% health, and almost nothing happened up until that point. So like you mentioned, BKB is going to be absolutely crucial for them. It's a very big power spike, and given the Roshan timer right now, we're going to find out how long it's going to be in about 20 or 30 seconds. If it's short and BKBs come up, I would imagine that Fnatic probably just go for it straight away, and knowing this, there's already just a hawk in the pit from Bulldog just kind of waiting this one out. But I think the next Roshan is probably going to be very indicative of who holds control of the game for quite a while, and to be honest, I think Fnatic might have enough with those 2 BKBs to take a fight.
At the moment, Fnatic, the 3 of them.
Oh, it's a long respawn as well. This is actually really good for Fnatic. It pretty much means that you will get your BKBs by the time this is up. Like, TA already has his pretty much.
And Mushi, he's got his as well now. He's just picked it up.
They do have BKBs. And at this stage, there's not really much else they're waiting for. Like, Ohio has Blink Force Staff. The Ench isn't really overly farmed by any means, but then again, you pretty much just need to stay in the back line and throw out Impetus. So this could be the timing that Fnatic were looking for to actually make something big happen.
Now, looking back at Loda, now on top of the Yasha that he did end up finishing the Blade into, he has got 3.4k.
He's going back for Radiance.
Yeah. If he's got the space to do, as we said earlier in the draft, Radiance is going to be huge. You've already talked about them, just the magical damage that they do have with S4 and such on the Zeus. Obviously, the BKBs are going to be nice for Fnatic in that sense, but Alliance, we'll see if they're obviously able to play around that, kind of draw the fights out, which when they've got heroes like Chen, they've got that sustain, they've got the Oracle as well. Alliance's lineup should be pretty good at making the fights go long enough so that you can reinitiate after the BKBs kind of deactivate.
Yeah, it's going to be down to a couple of things. The lasso, the thing with Alliance's team is they're not the greatest kiters. Like, the only hard disable they have outside of Chen creeps is a roar. So if you don't roar the lasso target, that means that you're trying to go for a kill yourself, and whoever gets lassoed is either going to get a false promise and probably die after it wears off, or get sent back to base and maybe live. So like I said earlier, it's still potentially fighting into a 4v5. And that does give Fnatic the opportunity to take a team fight. And the thing is, 10-second BKB is the best opportunity that they're going to have to take a fight successfully, because it's the longest amount of time where they won't have to worry about Zeus damage on either of their cores. And that's really what's doing the most work outside of the Spectre at this point. It's just the fact that the Zeus damage in a fight is like unparalleled. If there's no BKBs, this hero does like probably the most damage of any hero in the game.
We'll see top lane S4 going for a bit of a split push there. Does spot the Thunder God's Wrath just to check on the whereabouts of Fnatic, and 2 TPs will be coming back in onto the top lane from them, so it's going to be enough to hold back this push from Alliance for the time being. Mid one's still hanging around in the mid lane, has a DD bottled up as well, and now reaching 2k on top of it. But talking about on top, straight in the jump onto net. Bulldog not messing around there. He's in with the blink, in with the roar. The haunt was used as well, but they get themselves the kill. Alliance continuing to keep themselves on top in terms of the aggression between the two sides. 10 for 5. We'll have a quick look at the net worth difference at this point. It's still very close, and a lot of that down to the fact that this TA is farming like an absolute beast.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, mid one is keeping them in the game, pretty much, with the level of farm that he has. I imagine he just goes for Daedalus or something, just enough damage
I want to
blow
see the
somebody up. The thing is, he can still, like, annihilate Loda in a couple of seconds. If he gets a meld or two and a hit in with a double damage, there's no way that you can live through that. Like, not a chance. Even with 1300 health and 11 armor, you pretty much lose all of it from the Desolator plus the meld, and then 1 crit, and you're just a goner. And lucky for them, they walk right into the Roche pit. Well, I suppose it's not luck, but the Roshan is alive, and
incredibly easy with the
he's going to be slain. And again, Fnatic, like you said, they're still fully in this. Their team hasn't necessarily controlled the pace of the game, but they have the kind of lineup where they can potentially pick off 1 or 2 heroes and just totally assume map control because of how Bat functions. If you have map control with a Bat Rider, it's very hard for the enemy team to try to get back in.
Mid one, hanging around in the jungle. There is Alliance on the side. Horn is still unavailable for 30 seconds, and Loader now has got the Radiance finished, ready to go for that next round of the ult. Alliance moving in, blink away from mid one, trying to close in this gap, but of course this is all being spotted out by the side of Fnatic, so they know what's going on here. And off the back of that, Alliance won't be able to catch anyone out here. And mid one, he's going to be feeling nigh on invincible with the BKB and the Aegis in his pocket. And this really is, as we keep saying, this is the one huge issue for Alliance, because I could see a fight happening where mid one just walks in with his BKB. If they can disable or just take down the Oracle, stop EGM from saving his friends, they can very much go for the kills. In fact, there's going to be a Horn here. Alliance, they want to fight in the mid lane. They're looking for Mushi. Mushi gets swapped down, but Loader's actually there ready and waiting. They'll take down the Venge as well. 2 clean kills there for the side of Alliance. And now they're looking for more. Thundergod's Wrath is popped. They know the whereabouts of mid one, being brought down incredibly low there by the Arc Lightning. Will be able to blink himself away. So does manage to keep the Aegis intact, but we're seeing Alliance just with the power now. Spectre with that Radiance, it is not going to be fun for some of the squishy heroes on Fnatic's lineup, and included in that squishy lineup, it is the Lesh. You know, if Mushi's unable to get out his BKB in time, he's still going to die very quickly to the burst of Alliance.
Yeah, for sure. We are going to see a Firefly here by Ohio just to defend the tower, but this is a perfect example of the vision control that I was talking about earlier. If you look at the wording of Alliance, they saw that Fnatic were split. And as soon as they see an opportunity to go in, they have Blink Beastmaster, they have Zeus ulti, they have Spectre ulti. Between those things, they can find a pick anywhere on the map as long as one of those 3 heroes is in the vicinity. If the Beastmaster's there, Blink, Roar, Haunt, probably dead if he doesn't have backup. Same thing for Zeus. You can just pop a Zeus ulti, and even with just Book, you could probably kill, the Venge, the Bat Rider, maybe even the Enchantress, but all these heroes are just being picked and caught out of position. That's why they bought the gem. Ohio's like, they have so much vision that we can't really do anything. We just keep getting caught out.
I'm talking about getting caught out. Straight in onto EGM there with the lasso. 1-2 from mid one on the TA. Will bring down the Oracle. And 40 seconds off the map. They've still got that Aegis. This is the go time for Fnatic. This is where they try and make something happen.
Well, they are going to probably be able to kill this tower.
Oh! Hand of God, is he going to save you from that? 4 hits from mid one, and Zeus is just eliminated. And this could be the beginning of the nightmare the Alliance could have had when they looked at this TA. That is S4 down for 50 seconds, and now Fnatic knocking on your doorstep. They've still got the Aegis, BKBs are ready to go. This is Fnatic hitting that massive. Oh, Bulldog! He's been pulled in, he's been swapped in, blown up once again. Another kill here for Fnatic. There is now the money available for S4 to buy back, but this could be the middle set of racks going down, and this really is the point of the game where TA is just going to be such a huge issue. They need to do something about it. They're going to try and jump forward. In fact, mid one, he's just trying to turn and find to Loader. Loader will get sent back straight away. Ake says, get yourself out of there, you silly goose. And Fnatic's just back in, onto the racks. And they're going to find it. That's going to be the racks down. Can Alliance try and fight this one? Mushi just BKBs. TP's out. He should be. No, he's got it. It was cancelled and he's dead. They'll take him down. They'll find the Leshrac off the back of this. The Horn's still following through. Loader was looking to try and go for a higher, but realised higher with the TP out will be able to escape. DJ is there. The damage, not quite enough there to get that one. And the Ench will be able to escape. But Alliance, they're able to find one, but they do lose that melee racks. And this is something that we could see Fnatic go for a bit of a repeat of because of the amount of damage that mid one's doing on the TN. That is, I imagine, the recipe and more than enough money to have the full out Daedalus. So S4 getting 4 hit in that last fight is going to be 2 hits next time.
Yeah, he crits him like once and then 1 auto attack, he's dead. Zeus just doesn't have any armor. Like, at this point, I'm kind of wondering if going for the soul booster was the right choice, because if the TA gets in your face, again, no save. No one on their team can save you from TA's damage. You get false promise, you're still going to die after the duration, especially if he crits you like 1 or 2 times. So I'm kind of wondering if this is the right build for him, given the situation. Like, maybe he looks back on this game and thinks, maybe I should have got a Force Staff, maybe I should have got a Ghost Scepter, or even a Yule's, you know, just something that gives me a panic button. Because right now, their biggest issue is the TA and their inability to deal with it. If Bulldog's not there and doesn't roar that target and they don't kill it like straight up, they're going to have serious issues. Yeah, and at this point, his BKB is still 10 seconds. The guy hasn't even used it once.
Yep. And still with the edge, it really is all about mid one's TA. And I've heard a lot of people talking about this guy. This is the guy that everyone's like, this is the star player. You need to be aware of mid one because he's going to do spectacular stuff. And at the moment, you know, not to kind of say anything against his teammates, but he is really being the huge player in terms of the way he's played this game, the way he's just spent the majority of the earlier time looking for the farm, and he did find it, got himself ahead of the Spectre, and now he's still 3,500 ahead of Loader. And that is a Spectre with a Radiance. This is an impressive amount of gold on this Templar Assassin.
Yeah, it's becoming increasingly difficult as well. Okay, here we go.
Mushi did manage to get off the BKB in time, and that's going to be enough to keep him alive. They'll swap him out. So Bulldog did try and jump in with the Rod. The reactions there of Mushi are insanely quick. And it looks like Fnatic off the back of it. They've got one hero off of the side of Alliance. We'll see if they go for anything else, but Mushi there with the lightning fingers.
That was actually extremely fast. Like, if he doesn't BKB, he probably still gets swapped, to be honest. But
that's true.
yeah, but it was still very nice reaction time, and they just seemed ready. Like, this is the problem now. Because of the fact they just lose that hero, and then again, that Bat Rider with the gem and bots, he can just teleport back down. They can go for a full D ward here. Like, that death seems like a really small thing. It's okay, we lost our Beastmaster, but the reality is, if Ohio wants to, he can just go remove all vision off of Alliance's side of the map. And without that vision control, their lineup ceases to function. When you're playing on a dark map against Bat Rider and a TA with Blink and the amount of damage that they have in such a short span of time, it's terrifying. So they're not really able to play their style right now. Okay, nice Blink there from S4. But this is where Fnatic are going to feel the most confident, when they have the deep wards, when they know that Alliance don't have the proper vision to defend against their team fight.
We can see. Oh, I'm just watching this TA. I'm ready for mid one to go for the big jumps in, and I'm sure Alliance are as well. They're going to be very, very careful and very aware that if one of them gets caught out alone, mid one is going to be easily able to commit for the kill. He's still got a little bit of time left on the DD. Looks like he's going to be fortunate enough to find anything. And even now, thanks to DJ, he's got this Alpha Wolf following around. So if this TA didn't have enough damage already, he's got even more now, Andy.
Yeah, it's pain. Definitely painful. I think he hits for like, what, over 400 when he has Refraction and the Wolf near him. So the damage is most certainly real. But Alliance's game plans right now is they kind of need to continually just farm the Spectre, try to get the lanes pushed as much as you can. That's another issue that they're running into, is their wave clear is pretty subpar. Only having Radiance on the Spectre and just a Zeus for being able to push out the lanes isn't the greatest. So every single time Fnatic are moving around the map, they can split up because they actually have vision. They can see the entirety of Alliance right now just sitting outside of their base with the two wards they have. So they're just going to pop a smoke. They want to go for the throat here.
Yeah, let's see what they can do, Fnatic. And when you're playing against Alliance, it really is something that you need to keep the pressure on. Because if Alliance are able to draw this out for the next 30 minutes, then it just becomes a bigger problem for Fnatic. But Fnatic at the moment, they're very much hitting their stride and straight in it, and that's the pick off you want. You take EGM out of the fight, that's, you know, he can't save nobody. S4 gets swapped in, Net, it will get focused down, so Lotus managed to find one thing in return. The buyback is there from EGM, then Alliance desperately trying to turn this fight around. There's the Hornet as well, Loader trying to commit, but Mushi gets the stun off, and now with the burst, Loader has to get himself away to another illusion. Well, no! The impetus ends up finishing off Spectre. It is going to be a 1-for-1 at the moment. It looks like neither side's going to be able to find anything else as both disengage. But that was a buyback, of course, from EGM, the Haunt used from Spectre, and they're only able to take down the Vengeful Spirit.
I wonder if it's actually worth lassoing EGM in that situation. Like, say he lassos another target, like he gets his hands on a core, he maybe catches like Loda or, you know, Bulldog, S4, any of those choices. I think he just went for EGM because he was the closest, and the other reason, obviously, is that he's Oracle and he can cast False Promise on whoever he wants to, you know, jump on. So, with that in mind, if the hero just dies anyway, or gets sent back, doesn't that kind of just mean you win the team fight really hard, instead of just killing one support and then potentially going for a trade? I don't know, it's just like trying to min-max your options, I guess. But still, like you said, they forced the buyback. Still a favorable trade for Fnatic at the end of the day. And just waiting for the next Roshan, which is very soon. After that point, honestly, I don't know if Alliance can continue to make these kind of sacrifices, because they're taking economical damage every single time they defend. They're losing their core, they're buybacking on the Zeus first, and now the Oracle as well, just to make sure they can defend their base. And honestly, there wasn't even a Rax there. So it's kind of like a panic maneuver, I feel, to just be like, oh, we can't lose this fight.
Well, we've already seen as well now the pick up for mid one. He's getting that Diffusal Blade. in anticipation of the Ghost Scepters that may see more of them come out. There's only one at the moment on S4, but still, we've seen already. If you're able to take down S4 before he can just sit at the back, get off those arc lightning expounds and start to reduce the percentage of health that you've got, it's going to be a great way to kind of enter into the rest of the fight. And here's the big pickups. DJ's going to find himself the cheese, Mushi's going to grab himself the Aegis, and now Andy with this. Yeah, okay, Horn's going to be back online, so they will be fighting into the ultimates of Alliance, but Fnatic, they do not care. They know that they've got to go, and that's going to be exactly what they do once again here.
Yeah, they're going to see Ohio, though, I think. Yeah, they're even going to pop... no, did he cancel? Yeah, he canceled. Okay. I thought I saw him cast easily, but he just casted instead. So they should have a pretty good idea of what's going on. EGM
oh God. One more! Ah, they've got it. The crits, the
happened.
DPS is there from mid one. No escape from EGM. Well, thanks to that ward there from Fnatic.
That should reveal the ward, though, right? Like, the way he blinked and just hit him right away, that should be fairly obvious that there's a ward on that hill.
Is
So
it? I don't know if
that's some information gained, at least, for his death.
The question is how useful is that information going to be? He's dead for 50 seconds. Of course, that is going to be the fact that his buyback was already on cooldown. And now Fnatic, they're going to be ready to go into the base. They've got the cheese, they've got the Aegis. Let's see what Alliance can do to stop this. They do have the ults online. Loda did finish off the Mana Star, but Loda gets called out straight away, and he just absolutely evaporates. He does have buyback available, he's going to use it. And now with the Horn straight away, getting himself back in there, but S4 gets taken down. Loda coming into the fight, they're focusing Mushi, they'll take him down, but he's got the Aegis. He's going to be back for round 2. They shot Thunder goes Wrath. They burst down a high on the bat. Now DJ's got to run. He eats the cheese. Mid one's still trying to fight, looking for S4. Can he get it? No, the ability, he's not going to find it, and he pays with his life. Now Mushi going to die for a second time. 3 at the moment. There's a buyback from Ohio, but I don't know what he can do in terms of getting back to the fight. He does bots in, but he's having to run away. DJ's being chased down by the rest of Alliance, and they will find the kill there as well. So they do manage to do it. The buyback, of course, did come out from Loda for that fight. S4 as well, but they defend the base, and they do hold back for Fnatic, and that is exactly what Alliance need to be doing for this time.
All right, Owen, show us a recap. Come on.
I wish we had instant replay here, but unfortunately we don't.
All right, you didn't do it.
Sorry.
I'm flaming you right now.
I'm sorry. Please don't flame.
No, it
We've
was a really, really good defense from Alliance, to say the least. And the thing is, when you get baited into a fight against Spectre, and you pretty much have to use your BKBs right away because you're also playing against Zeus and a predominantly magic-based team in terms of damage output, it means that when Spectre buys back, and S4 also held onto his ult for a very long time, you can just deal the damage after the BKBs are done. And even though, again, the defense was a little bit costly, that time they got something from it. They killed multiple heroes. That was cheese push as well.
It was a cheese and Aegis push.
Yeah, and they actually defend. So that's huge for them. That buys them a lot of time. They know they can do some dewarding. Obviously, that ward we talked about earlier is going to get taken down. Pretty obvious that was there. And now the Vision game is starting to go back in their favor. Now, did they reclaim the gem? That's the question. It looks like they did. Okay, so Ohio's gem is no longer on their side either, which means that now Alliance can start to look to reclaim the map.
And now, off the back of that, you kind of look at the upsides there for Alliance, but at the same time, you look from Fnatic's perspective. So you've put the S4 Zeus and the Loda Spectre with cooldowns now buyback for just over 6 minutes. Is this the time where you feel you have to go for some aggression again? We're already seeing Alliance themselves.
Yeah, they're
looking ready to fight, but Fnatic, surely this is a fantastic time, because if they take down Zeus or Spectre now, that could be pretty much game-ending, sure.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Like, if either one of the cores dies from Alliance, and the TA and the Lesh are still up, your base is dead. You're going to lose your tier 3 in a couple of seconds with Edict and the amount of damage that mid one does right now. So they need to be very, very careful about how they do this. And they are going to be dewarding the last remaining ward in the map here for Fnatic, so they are playing completely blind. But that's like one of the biggest points of this game that we have to keep in mind, is some games are won just simply because of the fact that a team has superior vision. And in this game, every single time one of the teams has a vision advantage, they're taking the proper team fights, they're like getting good engagements, winning the fights, getting Roshan, and just most of the time that's been Fnatic. Since like the 20-25 minute mark, they've just been kind of on a roll. So I feel all in all that this game is going to boil down to, obviously, if Alliance can stay alive for the next 6-7 minutes, because they need to. If they don't and they lose their cores, the game is pretty much just over. But after that point, it goes back to ground zero, right? Because then there's buybacks, and it just becomes who can actually find the right engagement again.
And we are going to see who ended up getting it. It was a higher. I think DJ brought that one, didn't he? Yeah, DJ did rebuy a gem here for the side of Fnatic, so the kind of the map control war begins between the two sides, and as you're saying, it's of utmost importance at this stage of the game.
It's just experienced late game teams. Like anybody who goes past like the 35-40 minute mark, you need a gem, especially if you're going to be moving around the map as much as Fnatic have. And when you want to try to control the enemy jungle, as long as they can't see where you are, it's constant pressure all the time. Like, look at positioning right now of Alliance. Like, they have a couple of wards out, but at the end of the day, if they don't know where Fnatic are, they can't take the risk. They just can't let S4 and Loda die.
And they do have the Horn. Thunder goes Wrath back online. Mid one, he's going to quickly realise that that is just the illusion, but nonetheless, just keeping the pressure in on this bottom lane. The rest of Fnatic are still hanging around here. And he's got a lot of money in the bank as well. We've got to remember that Fnatic, they've got all their buybacks on cooldown. We'll see if they should have the money. A good majority. A lot of them have gone full in. Okay, Mushi's just about to have enough gold for his. So the important heroes nonetheless. You've got the Ench, the Lesh and the TA all with their buybacks ready. It's just 2.5 minutes left on the timers here for Alliance. So unless Fnatic do really push the issue anytime soon, we could get to the point where Alliance are going to be back in that much more comfortable period of the game where buybacks are going to be available on their course.
Yeah, I feel like if the TA had bots and buyback, I'd say they probably go for this. But because mid one doesn't really have that right now, and you can't just throw 7 heroes at Alliance when you know they can only buy back on their supports, I think that would be the play that has the highest likelihood of just straight up ending the game. But it's also a risk, right? Like, what if you make a mistake? What if you lasso somebody and they don't die or whatever? Like, there's a lot of things that could potentially go wrong. So because Fnatic have the map control right now, they're probably content to just make sure that Alliance aren't moving outside of their base. If they can accomplish that for the next, well, let's see, anywhere from 3 to 6 minutes, then they can prevent Alliance from getting Roche, go for another Roshan, keep making them spend money to defend their base, and eventually you might be able to just win by virtue of having better items, and obviously the later the game goes, the more likely it is that a team will make a mistake, and that could just win you the game.
And we can see here Bulldog, he's still working towards their refreshers up. Very nearly pretty much got the money for that second Perseverance in the recipe. And we'll see if he does decide to go all in at this point, or if he is going to hold out to make sure that he does have.
Oh, he does
buyback.
have bots now. He does have bots and buyback. Okay. He must have sold something because he only had like 1,500 gold a couple of seconds ago. So I think he sold his treads and then farmed a little bit, and now he has both. So I kind of think Fnatic could just go for it right now. Since Roshan still has quite a while before he's up, even if they lost the fight, it wouldn't be in direct danger of being taken from them.
It is very close to the point where they will have buybacks though, Alliance.
Yeah, but I mean, if they go for a team fight now, Fnatic can also buy back and bot in. You know what I mean? Like, it would be a fight where they could commit a lot of resources to if they want to try to just deal damage to Alliance's base. But I suppose the safer play is still just to wait for Roche. Just go for the second cheese. Give yourself the best opportunity to win a team fight. Because they're going to have potentially double buyback bots, a cheese, and an Aegis for the next push. Because Alliance just will not move out of their base. They have no control of the map right now. They're just being slowly asphyxiated by Fnatic.
Well, there's your refresher now, done on Bulldog. So he is going to go all in, as we were wondering. No
I think it's fair for him to do that.
I guess, yeah, if he gets the Roth and he dies, he's still kind of done his job. And now the fact that he's going to be
Yeah.
able to get 2 out in these fights, it's going to be real key. I mean, is there anyone in particular that you think Bulldog's going to be keeping his eye out in terms of blinking past the majority of the fight and going straight for the Roars on before he gets taken down?
I guess it's TA or Bat.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really roar Lesh, because the hero can just turn on Pulse Nova and deal damage while he's stunned anyway. Like, it's not like the best target in my opinion. I think he probably goes for Bat or he goes for TA. If the hero gets swapped, it gets swapped, but you can't roar Avenge.
We're seeing Alliance smoking up, and this was pretty much in tandem with the buybacks coming back off cooldown, so they feel a little bit safer in terms of going for these plays. And this really is becoming one of those games where it is all about looking for these plays. It's not really about sitting back, maybe a little bit more so for Alliance, but as you said, at this point, the fact that Fnatic really are kind of choking them in terms of the map control. There isn't going to be a lot of room for their course to find the farm. It's going to be a long time before Spectre Loader gets himself the bigger items. He's got 4.8k saved up at the moment. I can imagine that he's just making sure that he's got enough for buyback before he picks up that Reaver. As I guess he'll just finish off the Heart next. There's nothing else that you feel Loader's got to change his build up for.
Yeah, it'll most likely be the Heart, but he's also going to need to think about going like AC or Butterfly or something like that after the fact. He needs some defense against the TA. That's the biggest source of damage, I think, that threatens him in a fight. The thing that can actually take him out. Oh, he actually goes to
the Diffusal.
Alright, so I guess the BKBs are getting a little bit shorter. Still 8 seconds on mid one. That's still quite long. But Diffusal Manta does pretty much mean if he haunts and he realities to anyone, they're either going to have to BKB or they're just going to die.
I mean, Loader's, look at it, he's thirsty for this
he
one.
wants this.
He is, I'm coming to get you, he says. Is he going to get someone? Well, here we go with the Thunder God's Wrath, and there's your Manta with the Diffusal. There'll be the stun from Mushi. Now they'll look to try and turn. Mid one coming in with the right clicks. Loda in a lot of trouble. Loda gets saved just in time by EGM, and he will continue to fight up at the moment. The Radiant's ticking down the lineup of Fnatic. They'll lose Ohio. Loda, he's going to be kept alive here. Will still go down though, and he buys back straight away. And now with the Haunt returning to the fight. Loda with a perfect control of the Spectre. 2 dead at the moment. Now they'll look for mid one. Mid one trying to hold it with the Meld, but it doesn't matter. They've got the vision here. They'll take him down as well. They'll get the TA. A buyback did come out from Ohio, but a huge fight from Alliance and a fantastic usage there of the buyback Haunt from Loda.
I can't believe he lived through the false promise. I thought like 100% he was dead there. I think it even threw Fnatic off a little bit because some of the heroes were just walking away from him.
He's going to be gone at the end of that false promise.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, he's just going to die, buyback Haunt. So the fight kind of went how I expected it in the sense that, you know, he got himself back into the fight, didn't use his Haunt before he died. Everything went about as spectre-y as you can imagine, but it just seemed like Fnatic were not ready at all and that they were too reliant on their initiation at this point because the Spectre is starting to reach critical mass.
It really is.
If you look at the net worth difference between the TA right now and the Spectre, it's huge. But the thing is, Spectre's teamfight presence is just so much higher. TA is only good at blowing up a single target. I mean, sure, every once in a while you're going to get a Psyblade hit or two, but if you can't get the primary threat out of the teamfight and then keep it out, then the TA isn't really good against a hero anymore, and that's kind of the stage that we're at with the Spectre. Because they kill Loda once, if he can't get back to the fight, then all of a sudden that team fight is automatically won for Fnatic. But because it's Spectre, he buys back Haunts, the team fight is now over, because you've already popped your BKB, you have no defensive utilities left. And we also have to give a shout out to EGM for the false promise.
Yeah, and this is kind of something that we were talking about in the draft. The fact that Alliance, they have this synergy.
Yeah.
They have the players that are just going to be right on top of saving each other, and EGM, of course, the man of the moment in terms of getting that false promise out when Loda literally had just a slither of health. It was some big plays indeed, and of course they're great. That even when as the Oracle, you disarm someone like a Spectre, he's still going to be wandering around with that Radiance tick damage, so he's still contributing to the fight when he's being healed up.
Yeah, this is getting really scary for Fnatic. They are starting to kind of collapse into their side of the map. It's allowing Alliance a lot of breathing room. S4 hasn't really gotten too much in the way of item progression for a while, and the fact that the TA also had to go for Diffusal Blade just for Ghost Scepters.
Ooh. Fnatic, they're trying to go for the Roshan mid-bomb. We'll just put the BKB and run. Also worth noting, he's got the moonshot on the TA. There's going to be the lasso onto S4, bringing him right away from the rest of his team. Can the team get there in time to save him? We'll put the Ghost Scepter indeed. EGM is there with the false promise, keeping him alive. They're taking down the TA now with the Haunt. Loda's looking to continue to fight. Mushi's going to start to back up, but DJ getting bursted down on the Enchantress, coming back in. But Loda with the Manta, he'll send in the illusions. They'll focus them onto Net, who does get the swap off onto the Enchantress, saving him. There's a double kill for Loda as they take down 2, and that was the buyback coming out from TA. Alliance, let's see what they do now. They're going to head into the Roshan pit with 1 down, with TA's buyback now on cooldown. Mid one, I don't know if is he going to be able to do anything off the back of this? Can he jump in, or does he just have to bite the bullet and play it safe?
He doesn't have BKB. The problem is, and the reason why I said that fight was going to go so badly for them, is A, they were split up, which means that the Zeus is going to ult, the TA is not going to be able to blink, and he already BKB'd. So no BKB means you can't walk into that team fight anymore. You get diffused by the Spectre, he turns around, he just annihilates you. In a man fight, I don't think the TA can really deal with Loda anymore, and that's why I was saying, at this stage, Fnatic are relying on 2 things. They need the vision advantage, and they need a good initiation. They need to pull a hero out and kill it. And it needs to not be Loda, because if he has buyback and Haunt, that initiation is useless. And he's more than okay with spending the buyback if he makes sure that he kills, 3 or 4 heroes, like we saw last time when they were fighting towards top. It now becomes a game of, can Fnatic actually get picks that aren't Loda? It sounds kind of counterintuitive, right? Because most of the time you would actually want to kill the core. But most of the time now, if they kill the core, it's going to result in a Haunt and an immediate teamfight loss, which is kind of the strength of late game Spectre.
Looks like, yeah, so he's going to go full in for the Reaver.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the Loda. I guess the buyback's probably come off cooldown.
Well, he's got Aegis.
Still on cooldown anyway for 3 minutes. And yeah, as you said, he's got the Aegis.
Yeah.
So it's very much the best play here.
And he only traded in, what, drums? So drums for an Aegis, I think that's worth it.
Still had them on the current, in fact. I don't think he's got the gold yet for it. No, so he's going to get a bit more gold from that as well. So this, I mean, this game, we just saw when I brought up the net worth difference. It's incredibly close between these two sides. But the fact that there is that Spectrum Alliance, you've just got to give them the edge at this point of the game. We saw 30 minutes in where mid-1 was just blowing up heroes, jumping in on the TA. Well, they were able to find the mid set of racks, but we said at that point, this game goes on another 30 minutes, which is 10 minutes away from doing so. Alliance are going to be arguably in their element in terms of how the
they
gameplay
kind of
goes.
already are.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of not making a mistake. You know, don't get caught out. And it becomes infinitely harder when the person that you want to, you know, you have to worry about the most has Aegis. He has Haunt and Aegis, so he has to die. Then you have to kill him again. Then he's going to buy back in Haunt. Like, Spectre late game is just so hard to deal with that I don't think Fnatic ever had any intention of getting into the 50-minute mark. Like, ideally, they ended 21 minutes ago. Yeah. Roughly around there. Like, when they were pushing down mid, they got that first melee racks. I felt, okay, Fnatic are now kind of hitting their stride. They got all these items on mid 1. They can't really deal with him. And then they take one bad team fight bottom, and I really feel like that's where the game really turned in favor of Alliance, when they killed 4 heroes, and even though they had to commit buyback, they successfully defended their base and got multiple big priority kills. So when that happened, all of a sudden Fnatic, they lose their map control. And prior to that point, I also don't think they had a gem, which I feel was a mistake. I think they needed an earlier gem to control the map more and take away the control from Alliance at a sooner stage, because then maybe Loda doesn't have his Radiance, you know, when he buys back in that team fight, and maybe you have an opportunity to straight up end the game by double raxing. But now they're just clearly on the back foot. Fnatic are looking for some kind of opening, but for now they're just trying to split push lanes, wait for another smoke. We could see potentially a, what is this, 5th Roshan if it spawns? I think it's 5th.
Yes, I want to say 5th. Yeah.
Because it's 3rd cheese, yeah, so that would have to be 5th Roshan.
Higher, coming forward there on the mid. He's just spot AK out, but AK heads over to the side, and the rest of Alliance are starting to pad on this bottom lane, looking to try and get another tier 2, getting themselves to a better position to go for that high ground push. In terms of items next for Loda, after the AGC, he is still going to have a slot free. Do you think he'll fill that up, or do you think he will go for the refresher to hold it back, as you know, we keep emphasizing the importance of having that Haunt available when he does buy back if he goes down in a fight?
I think Refresher is super good, but I also don't think he needs it right now. He could go for a Scotty, he could go for Butterfly, he could go for AC. Like three things that make him in the actual team fight ridiculously strong. If you buy Refresher, I feel like it's after you're already 6 slotted, and you, like, if you die, for example, you can just pop your Haunt and then refresh and then go to the fight.
I'm talking about going for the fight. Loda just waltz in, and he does not give a damn about what Fnatic are throwing at him at the moment. They've been able to take down the tier 3 Alliance, and Loda just straight back in, hitting away here at the melee racks on the bottom lane. Fnatic, what's their answer? For a few impetai, but it's just going to force them back for a matter of seconds, and Alliance is straight back in. You've just got to ask yourself, what do Fnatic do to stop this? The burst damage from S4 forcing them back. Mushi moving forward now with the Shiva's Guard, but Loda just starts to get the right clicks in. Mushi pops the BKB and backs off. But Fnatic, they just seem unable to find the jump in. We're still seeing mid one just unable to get himself close. We saw Loda sending in the Manta Illusions just to stop the TA from being able to get off a successful jump in. But even if mid one could, I don't know if he can do it against this lineup. And at this point, as you say, it really feels like Alliance have just got this game right by the chokehold, and Fnatic can't do anything to stop him.
As long as Alliance save buybacks, I think they're going to be in a pretty good spot. Now, it's not to say that Fnatic can't win. It's just, it's really difficult.
Bulldog is getting caught out in the top lane with the lasso into mid one. That is going to be the Bulldog down and the gem on the ground. Talking about the importance of having map control.
They got 2, so...
yeah, but it's denying Alliance. I guess they've got the money on whoever, if they do want to pick themselves up a second one.
No, I mean, they do have 2. It's just sitting in the base.
Already... Okay.
Yeah, EGM just picked it up, so... It's at that point where the gem carriers have died multiple times, so I think both teams at one point had 2 gems, or might even still have 2. But this is a pick that doesn't really allow Fnatic to do a whole lot because Roshan's not alive. It's kind of just a pick that gives you maybe a little bit of control of the map for a while. Just allow yourself to farm up, maybe push the lanes in a bit, give yourself a dominant position on the map so you can set up for Rosh, but it's still quite a ways away. Again, it's going to be like, what, anywhere from 3.5 to 6.5 minutes, and that's quite a long time. The thing about this game, too, and we haven't talked much about it, as we might have to hold that thought, actually.
Here we go, Loda being focused down here by Fnatic. See if Alliance can try and jump on them, and in fact, see everything jump from a high. Oh no! Lasso's the Centaur! That was not the initiation that he was looking for. And now Fnatic, I don't know if they're going to want to stick around anymore for that, and they won't after that whiff. They'll back off. Unfortunately there from Ohio, wasn't quite able to grab any of the bigger fish that he was looking for, and Alliance is going to be fine, and Bulldog is going to be back on the map now.
That is what we would commonly refer to as unfortunate. I don't know if they really wanted to take that fight anyway. If they were going, because I assume they were going for Loda, right?
Maybe that lasso was just regret. He jumped in, was like, I
think
don't
that
actually want to
lasso
fight you guys.
was a blessing in disguise. Because let's consider the following. You lasso Loda, maybe you kill him, maybe you don't. And then he buys back and haunts and you lose the fight. I don't think that Fnatic wanted to initiate like that. I don't think that was even a good idea. So the fact that he got the Centaur, I think, might have ended up saving them a really catastrophic fight. But at this stage, I suppose they're kind of feeling really restless and that they need to try to do something to end the game. And I was going to mention before that little fiasco happened with the Centaur that Lesh is very bad against Oracle. Like, really bad. Like, you pop your W and the Lesh core does 0 damage for, what, 6 seconds I think it is when you have the max level. So anytime Mushi walks into a team fight and he's not hitting multiple targets, that person gets Fate's Edict cast on him, and he's just useless. Like, he doesn't do anything. So I feel like this is Alliance's answer to the Lesh in the first place.
Oh!
Oh, God.
Well, there was an Oracle there.
Did he just get one shot?
Yep.
Rip.
And that is EGM down for 60, and at the same time, Ohio finds Ake. That's he's going to take a couple there, but he does get the Ghost Scepter off in time. Stuffs himself away, but the swap's there from net, bringing back the Chen. Double kill for mid one. It looks like the buyback money is just... I think he was just waiting on the goals. He just ticked over the goals. Okay. So they do have buybacks on these two heroes. But you've got to be careful at Alliance if they're allowing them to get those pickoffs. And that's exactly what Fnatic want to find. It's just any time you're out of position, Fnatic are going to be there ready to jump. We'll see what they can do with it now. They'll look for the tier 3. Loda moving forward. Loda now has to be careful. In fact, he might want to just try and fight this one. Bulldog's coming in. Oh, finds the roar. Mid one getting bursted down. They'll jump forward, and that's the TA dead. TA will buy back immediately, and she's trying to re-enter the fight, but DJ's going to go down. Net as well to fall. It's a double kill for Loda. Now mid one, he's got to do something spectacular here. It is the buyback, but the false promise, keeping Loda alive as he cleans up the team. That's going to be the third dead on Fnatic, and now the rest of Fnatic just have to run. Mid one's got to get himself out of there. Ohio in tow as they do retreat. They're desperately chasing their alliance. They're hungry to clean up the side of Fnatic, and they're going to catch Ohio by the looks of it. He turns around with a flame break, but the dagger is there from Loda. He'll take down another 2 buybacks now coming out from the side of Fnatic, but it's all falling apart now for them. Mushi's trying to run. He's come back into this one, and if he goes down, this is going to be vital. It was the refresher, the double primal roar, one to pop the Linkers, the second for the kill, double kill for Loda. That's a dieback on Mushi, and this game, it's a painful one from Fnatic, but it's slowly just falling to pieces, Andy.
They let the game go on too long. I mean, we talked about it during the draft. The late game Spectre, they're just not really...
Look, that was an expensive fight.
Yeah, that was a little bit costly. What, 10.5 thousand? Something like that? Gold difference, give or take? With the gold that they lost on Fnatic for having to buy back and also dying, that was something that they simply could not afford. Like, even though the TA is pretty much... You can't get any more farm than he is right now. The only thing you could say is maybe you get rid of the Blink Dagger for something else for extra damage, maybe a Rapier. But even then, if you buy that, you're not going to be able to get in close proximity like you want to. So, Alliance, they're in their comfort zone. This is the late game. They have a better late game composition, easier to execute. Like, everything just seems to be going very well for them. And I got to say, the Oracle pick for me so far has kind of been the MVP of the match.
DJ's been making some huge saves on Loda.
I mean, the thing is, you could tell that Loda doesn't really... He's not experienced playing with the hero because he was running away, but he healed to full health when the ult ended. So he just...
Oh, that's how Oracle works.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm actually fine. Because he got crit for like 1,000 damage, and he's like, oh, I should maybe back up. But it's like, no, dude, you're good. You keep
EGM's
going.
like, get yourself back in there. You're going to be alright. And Alliance, they're certainly looking to be alright as a whole now as they push down the mid lane onto the middle racks. Fnatic are going to have the full lineup back up in 15 seconds, but they need nothing less than a miracle here. They need to find some big crits from mid one. He needs to crit twice with every right click, and that's not possible. Let's see what he can do, though, to stop this. Loda on the front lines, Ohio pops the BKB. Not using the lasso, though. Loda will pop the Haunt. Fortification coming out from Fnatic. They are going to fight this one to the bitter end. Can they find anything? And it's going to be Loda. Pops the Manta Style. And, oh, actually, well, this is an interesting one. Using the ult there on an illusion. Maybe trying to go for the draw away, but this could cost Loda his life. Falling low. Loda's going to get himself out just in time, though. And now Fnatic, they're the ones to start to fall. 2 dead at the moment. Now they'll turn onto the TA. Mid one, he's got to back himself up. And EGM, maybe a little bit fat-fingered there with that cast of the False Promise, but it doesn't matter. Loader's fine, Loader's safe. EGM was like, you were fine anyway, you didn't need my ult. 2 dead now, Fnatic, and again, this is 2 heroes without buyback. And Alliance just continuing to find the favourable trades time and time again. We'll have a look at the graph. It's not going to be pretty, and that's more than enough for them.
Yeah, they got minions, so it's very understandable in this position to GG out. I got to give props to Fnatic. They had an amazing first 20 to 25 minutes, but it just really felt like they were pushing in bottom. That particular fight was where the entire game got flipped on its head.
Yeah.
And even though they maintained control of Roshan for so long, I want to say they got 4 Roshans in a row. They didn't get the 5th, right? But they got 4 at least, and they still couldn't end the game. And I really feel like one of the biggest problems that they had was trying to go high ground, is obviously going for the Spectre first, and some of the team fights ended up being really bad for them. And then also Mushi's hero just being hard countered by EGM on Oracle, who had, like, let's say a 5th or maybe a 4th of the net worth, and all he has to do is cast like 2 spells and your Lesh deals 0 damage during the entire fight. So I think that the Alliance's draft actually was quite good this game, and we might be seeing some more Oracle in response to Fnatic's Leshrac picks in the future.
More Oracle and less Lesh?
Well, I think Fnatic really like Lesh, and I think the hero's strong. But if you're going to pick it, I think you have to ban Oracle.